We had to go see Bossio right quick. Yo, hey, I heard we was 5 for 5 for these Grammys, man. Educator of the year, educator of the year. I love that.
First ever.
Yeah.
Yo, when you take this seriously, when you have the passion that we have for what we do,
Yeah.
money don't matter. It don't matter.
Why don't it matter?
Because your passion it takes over money. Like you do what you do because you love it. You don't do it because of the money. Love you, bro. You do it because you love it, and money is just a tool to continue to do things.
This educator of the year right here. My boy, my brother. Yeah. So to kick this video off, I go in with a number 2 guard on my gold FXs for my babeless, and I'm giving complete strokes just to make sure I get the hair down to a desired length due to my client not having multiple calyx in the front of the hair and giving me free range to go through the hair. I can give consistent strokes like this. And then we speed the clips up with the number 2 guard, knocking majority of the bulk off just so we could get to the real meat and potatoes of the video. As you guys can see, the waves are popping out. He OG, he salt and pepper. We doing no color enhancement. Germ got me locked in. The beat fire. The first person that dropped the sample in the comment section will be pinned. Y'all know what time it is. Hashtag TBT. We improving all the instrumentals. We improving the camera quality. We improving with the tools. We locked. It's 2019 and it's time to hop in that bag. Let's get back to it. We go in with the Gold FX trimmers, the newest trimmer on the market, going up about 1.5 inches in the back because we will be displaying a high taper on the client today, and the reason being is it's going to show a dope transition within his hair in a high taper. So I go in with a 1/8 guard, about 1 inch, and I'm just going to debulk. Seeing that I knocked down with a 2, if I open up with a 1 against the grain, it she'll fade in right into that. I'm just clearing area, clearing the bulk in this area, and as you guys can see, you got to use your guards, you got to use your system. Everything flows into itself. So whatever you cut the hair down with, you can go a guard under that just to set your taper off. Then I go in completely open with the babeless FXs, and I just go up 1/2 inch, clearing this first panel. Then I go completely halfway closed with the 0.5 guard, and I just start to debulk this area. As you guys see me playing around with my lever as I go up in the fade, and then, you know, playing with it as I go down in the fade, just so I can create that transition for the taper. Due to the hair being gray, you know, these are like more stubby, harder hair. So, you know, sometimes it's kind of hard to get this hair to cooperate with you, but the more you brush one and fade one, you completely train the hair. You keep the hair up to par with you during the haircut for the haircut to lay. That is one of the most important things when controlling the haircut or controlling your outcome. Your finish is everything that you've always wanted it to be. And then going with the grain just so I could do some debulk work and clean up towards the bottom of the taper. And then I go completely closed, and then I just start to nudge out this bottom line. And as you guys can see, in certain aspects, you don't always have to play around with the lever. I literally just flicked at the line completely closed, and I opened it up right here, turning my clippers to the side, incorporating multiple fading techniques so I can get my transition. And as you guys can see, we basically there. Then I go in with the trimmers, hitting towards the top of the ear so I could do a low ball taper on him. Due to where his ears are placed at, you know, it's easier for me to do my lower taper here. And then I go in completely open, and then I blend that line out. It's another big thing about these wavers. When cutting the waver, you always want to have that conversation if they want to keep the fade low or if you want to fade up to the last big wave. Now, me and most of my clients always fade up to our last big wave, but that is something you always consult you know, with your client about, just to make sure, because these waivers are crazy and y'all don't want to cut one wave that ultimately destroy the essence of a good haircut for them. And that's literally my favorite part about these haircuts, that these guys have these waves, and some people have, you know, lower taper lines than everybody else due to where they wave stop at. But in a realm of being very creative, you gotta adjust to everything. That's the best part about barbering. You will be in positions where you can fold, but it's up to you. You control that outcome. I promise you, that finish gonna be everything you want it to be and some. So I'm just keeping everything consistent, and then I'm just now trading the same fading steps that I did up top to the bottom. It's just like math. It's like a common denominator. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. In reference of a fade or in reference of a line, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. That's how you create symmetry. That's how you give off that look. You want to be super crispy, you want it to be super clean, and you want all of the taper and everything to always to align correctly. That's like one of the worst feelings ever, when one of your tapers or one of the sides of your tapers is pushed higher than the other. Then you gotta match it, and it kind of throws it off because you already done set in stone the taper. So take your time, and I promise you the game gonna reward you for everything that you put into it. Everybody like consistently hit me up either in my DMs or on YouTube, and people ask for tips, and I'm not saying that's a bad question, but I need specific questions in terms of the barber game, because any tip that I could give anybody is staying consistent and keep putting the shots up. Like, it feel like I'm telling the same sob story to everybody else. So in terms or in reference of barbering, a big tip for everybody is stay consistent. Be in your creative realm. Enjoy doing what you're doing. Lock in, tune in to yourself, tune in to your clients. It's not about what's going on in the shop. It's about what's going on when that client sit down and it's game time. When a clock start, what you gonna do with the time? Time is like literally one of the most beautiful essences of things that we can never get back. What you do with it shows how efficient of an individual you are, especially in your own realm. So let's get into some real work. I go in with the Gold FX's trimmers, and I'm just basically setting off my guidelines right here. As I told you guys, he was having a hot taper in the back, so maybe it looked kind of skeptical before I put a line to it, but once you put a line on everything, everything naturally comes out in its true form. Right now, we're not playing the guessing game. It's not estimating. It's not me setting myself up for the kill shot. This is the kill shot right here. We applied every step necessary or needed to set ourselves up to perform to this level right here. And we go in with the Gold FX trimmers and just keep everything consistent. As you guys see, I start in the back of the neck and I come down just so I can make sure my vertical bars are the same. I flip the ear down, then I use the corner of the blade and slowly but surely work my way around the curve of the ear. So let's work. So once we get into the lineup, in an imperfect world, lineups always have overhang and unnecessary parts of the lining that prevent you from seeing the straightness of the lining. Most people don't understand with waivers, there's a lot of overhang, and as you guys can see, I'm getting that right in order. So I normally start off with my vertical bars, but just due to camera placement, I had to start off my lineup in the front, just what was comfortable for me, just so I can make sure I had everything in a frame for you guys, because you guys will get every bit of this. My camera angles will get better. I'm not worried about the camera no more. I upgraded to the Canon EOS R, so clearly we're gonna get some of the dopest footage for you guys out there. I got one of the baddest mirrorless cameras that's out there. Shout out to my boy Jeezy. Shout out to Fonz for putting me on game with the nifty 50, 24 to 100 millimeter lens. Like, we in a whole different world right now. In terms of creativeness, y'all are finna see me bend shapes and lines so crazy over the next few months. The amount of growth that we are finna do is honestly finna be ridiculous. We're finna be able to sit down and see these hairlines and some of the cleanest footage, period. Some of the dopest tapers. Like, we finna grow together, and it's finna be something that's so essential and something that's just so mutual on both ends. So if you guys stick with me through these videos, I'll appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get tuned in when these videos drop. I promise you, we're not stopping. It's 2019. Let's lock in. Just keeping everything consistent, using the corner of my blades just so I can get that Chicago. See? just making sure everything match up. I go and do the back of the beard line just so I can create the silhouette. I want that real masculine look before I get to shaping the beard and before I get to putting any hard lines on it. So I'm creating that border and creating that wall around, you know, my shape. I'm framing out. This is just what I normally do. And then after framing out from the back of the beard, I start to frame out from the inside due to the mustache. And once you set this, you'll be able to really control how wide you go with the beard. And not only how wide you go with the beard, but you almost can see the beard before. It's just like doing the vertical bars of the lineup and then seeing the front of the line. Once you frame out from the back of the beard, then you frame out on the inside, you can see everything filler itself. So once the beard was picked out, we just shaped up everything, getting the client as clean as possible. Like we taking it there. This was 2 months of a wolf. He fully gray haired. He keeping everything original. And that's one thing that I can always do. I can salute to the OGs out there that's in the game, that's killing it, especially in the wave game. And then that's not using color. This is something that's new to my channel. You guys haven't seen me not use color, so we finna really hop in that bag. I go in with my Barber Magic pencil and just basically outline my lines, setting myself up for that real crispy clean look at the end. And then I go on my Andis T Outliner GTX is done by my girl Veronica, the barbers, and these are so fire. Like, I could use these as starters, I could use these to do this, but just in terms of this video, the FXs I had let one of my co-workers borrow on mid video, so I had to reach back and grab another pair of trimmers. As you guys can see, I'm just basically concealing the lineup, giving it that highlighted look, and then everything just goes into itself perfect. Then I go in with my Tune 45 triple cartridge razor using the exposed cartridge just so my blade sticks out. I got full control. I can see everything, every hair that's being cut, every ash or white line that pops up. I create that. I'm controlling that outcome. This is me. I'm establishing dominance on my lineup. This is what I do. This is my realm. This is my world. This is where I'm happy at. This is me in the game right here. Nobody else, just me in the game. Stretching the skin, bringing everything back to the line, making sure I keep everything consistent so you can get the client as crispy as possible. Remember, when you're not using things like enhancements, it is true, like the hair is true, but also you don't have that free range of getting everybody crispy. The statement, I can get everybody crispy, dies when you don't use color enhancement. And there's nothing wrong with not using color enhancement, but you guys know I built a whole channel off breaking the barrier of color enhancement. I love his natural lineup, and I'm not saying what color it will look better, but I'm saying what color it will look better. Shout out to the OG though, because this is fire. Like, this is one of my clients that always refresh me. I get that feeling of not having to use color. As you guys can see, the beard is crispy, everything is fire about this haircut. And then he a gray hair waver, and his connections is dope. And he got a full head of hair, full lining. Come on, man, this is clean. Shout out to my boy Clay. Fire. And at times, even if them camera angles ain't working good for you, because I like to stand behind my client and bring everything to the line, that I gotta go forward then flip the razor backwards. Sometimes you gotta go outside your world to make things work for what they are at that time. Then under the neck, I just do some of the most satisfying cleaning of work. This is some of the satisfying part of the videos to me, because it's the nasty part. It's the part that looks crazy under the neck. But once you clear this out, you give the beard so much more of a distinguished finished look. As you guys can see, just half of it being done, it looks crazy right now. I want to give a huge shout out to my boy Clay again. This was a dope haircut. This was a dope session. Shout out for woofing for 2 months for me, because I feel like we gave YouTube a banger right here. This is just natural, and everything about this haircut is organic and it's original, and it's just dope to me to be able to step outside of my realm but still give y'all some of my flavor in the same aspect. So this is how you do an amazing 2-month transformation on one of the OGs. Salt and pepper waver. As you guys can see, he crispy just like one of the young guys. The taper in, the beard is flawless. Y'all know what time it is. If you're new to my channel, please hit that notification bell. It's your boy Get Beam, hashtag TBT. It's the Beam Team. We locked in 2019. Y'all know what time it is. It's Year of the Creators. We in that bag. Until next time.